Hola a todos! So today I want to talk a little bit about what exactly is my goal here with learning Spanish and Japanese. Today, in this video I'm going to talk specifically about learning Spanish. Right now, I feel like, and I've been told this by people as well, that as far as my conversational abilities is concerned, I am at pretty much a solid upper beginner level, but not yet at an intermediate level, which is more of a conversational level, where the way I think about it is an upper beginner, you can start to have conversation with patient people, with people who are either used to conversing with foreigners or they like to be able to converse with somebody who is learning their language. And an intermediate level is, to me, is a level in which you can start talking with people who are not patient. Ideally, they don't have to speak very slowly, they can just speak at a normal pace, and I don't have to speak very slowly either. So, I want to really bridge this gap and finally get from the upper beginner into the intermediate stage. Unlike Japanese, for me, Spanish is a marathon. I want to stick with it long term and really become fluent in Spanish. I can't even speak English. An upper intermediate level of fluency where I can make friends with people, basically. If I can get it to the level of my Chinese, that would be more than enough. I never actually talk about my Chinese, but I do speak Chinese fluently. My vocabulary is not very good, and I don't read and write very well, but I can speak it fluently. So I use that as a gauge for my Spanish progress. What this means is that I'm okay with progressing very slowly. I'm not in any hurry to get to that intermediate level. As a matter of fact, these couple of months that I have spent trying to teach myself Spanish, and more recently, because I've taken on Japanese especially, I've been spending less than 30 minutes a day working on my Spanish. I don't plan to take breaks on it, but I am okay with slowing it down at any point. So I'm doing a lot of things to make sure that I keep making progress on my Spanish. One of the things I said in an earlier video is that my listening and reading skills are okay, but my speaking skills is pretty terrible still. I am still translating in my head, and I am still speaking very slowly. I just don't think I can learn the same way I used to learn. So whereas before I was learning the building blocks and the grammar pieces and building up my vocabulary so I actually have enough words to be able to talk to somebody, at this point I can't be translating in my head anymore. I need to get to the point where I can think in the language that I'm speaking. So there are two books that I read actually a few months ago. So one is Fluent in 3 Months, I believe. It's by Benny Lewis. Pretty much it might be the most popular book on language learning out there. I'm not sure his name is everywhere when you try to look up language learning resources and advice. And his basic thesis is start talking from day one. I don't necessarily like to talk from day one, and I don't believe that is required to help you progress quickly, but I wholly believe that in order to improve in a language, you do have to speak the language. And the second book is Fluent Forever by Gabriel Weiner, another very, very popular book. And this one I really like because he has a lot of tools that help make your life a lot easier, especially when it comes to memorizing vocabulary and grammar usage. His big thing is that in order to really think in a language, you can't use English translations or translation in whatever your primary language is. So instead of having Spanish on one side and English on the back, you have Spanish on one side and a picture on the back. And that's the basic gist. He goes into more detail about how to make your flashcards more complicated to account for sentences that involve complex grammar. So I've started switching all of my flashcards over to the Fluent Forever system to help get out of that translating in my head barrier. And as for speaking is concerned, I'm holding myself accountable to talk with somebody in Spanish for at least 30 minutes and at least once a week. Ideally more, but this is a marathon for me, so I don't want to put too much on myself, especially since I'm trying to really, really learn as much Japanese I can in the next couple of months. And I'll have a video explaining my strategies for doing that coming up next. And every day, with no exceptions, I go through and review all of my flashcards. Even if I don't add any new flashcards for that day, I have to review it every single day. And I usually do that like first thing in the morning and just knock it out of the way. I also have some Spanish content that I read and watch. It's not really structured learning. It's pretty unstructured. Because I do practice Spanish with my boyfriend, who is also learning with me right now. So sometimes we will watch a Spanish show. There is one structured Spanish audio program that I am listening to right now, but I am not holding myself accountable to doing a certain amount per day or per week. It's just something that I want to do for fun. And it's called Learning Spanish Like Crazy. It kind of reminds me of Pimsleur in the structure, except it's way, way, way more fast-paced and advanced. I am listening to the intermediate stuff right now. It's an audio learning program where they say something and you either have to repeat it or they ask you a question and you got to repeat it in Spanish, and you race against one of the narrators who will answer the question after a couple of seconds of silence. So I really like it. It's a nice game. I try to beat the narrator if I can. A lot of times I can't on the first try. So that's been a pretty challenging program, and I do like it. So that's more extracurricular kind of stuff. And now here are some more clips just showing me talking in Spanish with Nick and just showing where I am at this week.
Hoy es mi última día en Chicago. Esta noche voy a volver a Seattle pero en julio voy a volver a Chicago de nuevo. Estoy emocionada porque verá a mi gata. Mi gata vive en Seattle ahora y me gustaría darle un gran abrazo. Salud. ¿Cómo está su bebida?
Mi bebida es michelada. Es más o menos, es bastante bueno.
Hay omelette con 3 huevos y vegetales, muchos vegetales, sí, caliente, papas, pan con tostada y el pan
Con
tostado con raisins.
Con uvas secas.
Uvas secas.
No sé.
Uvas secas pequeñas.
Sí.
Un chico.
Soy chico.
Un chico con sombrero.
Sí.
Boop. ¿Estás cansado?
Sí. Estoy cansado.
¿Quieres una siesta?
Sí. Quiero una siesta muy larga. Una siesta de 8 horas.
Lo siento.
¿Por qué?
Yo te despierto. ¿Puedes volver a dormir?
Todo.
Todo. Okay.
Dormir. Todo dormir.
Okay.
To dormir.